Hi, I'm Emily Burmis, and this is 120 Seconds to Better Leadership. I want to talk today about the context that we set for other people when we are trying to help them learn new skills. And it's how the way that we set the context for learning affects how people can or cannot learn. And I learned this actually the hard way. I didn't understand it at the time, but when I was growing up, I was a ballet dancer. And what I knew to be true for me was that if I was the best student in the class or close to the top, and I knew the teacher liked me, I could perform really, really well in your average class. And what I also learned and knew was that if the teacher wasn't a fan of me, or if I wasn't one of the better dancers in the class, that negativity in my own head would get to me so bad that it would ruin my balance, it would ruin my stamina. I wasn't as strong, I wasn't as flexible, I couldn't turn, I couldn't coordinate. And so my dance was very unpredictable. I could be amazing or terrible, but it really did depend on who I was working with. And I had not had that experience in a long time until this weekend when I went to a dressage riding clinic with my newer horse. And the clinician was very tough. She was yelling at other students before he went in the ring, which I'm not used to. And she did not like my horse at all. And I don't think she cared much for my riding either, which is fine, except it super got to me in exactly the same way. So all of the basics that we have, all of the connection that we had made, all the progress I felt I had made with my mare were out the window. It went horrible. It's the worst weekend of training I've had in 20 years. So, but it did remind me how influenceable we are by other people's thoughts and expectations and the energy that they put out there while we're trying to learn. And, at work, I do this every day. I've been doing it for 22 years. I've got a really thick skin. Dressage, not so much. So it was a great reminder to me, though, that often I'm in a position, you're in a position to be teaching other people, and we don't know if they've got all the confidence in the world or if the things that we'll say or do might rattle them and bring out the worst in them. So if we're creating an environment where people know we don't believe in them, when we doubt them, when we yell at them, when we criticize them, when we undermine their confidence, when we make passive aggressive comments, even if we don't say anything and it's just our attitude, it shows in your eyes, it shows on your face, it shows in your body language, and people do feel it. And it does create this powerful difference for many people. Either I can do this or I can't do this. And it's the belief that that other person has that actually makes that true or not. We tend to believe it's our own self-fulfilling prophecy, but it's often actually the beliefs of other people that we live up to or down to. And so if I'm vulnerable to that at almost 50, probably your people are vulnerable to that. Maybe not in every setting, but in settings where they're not super in their zone of genius, right? So if you don't believe this, or if this feels like it can't be that powerful, just try this one experience. It's super cheesy. I would never actually do it in like a corporate retreat because I'd like to keep my job, but I swear it does work. If you just have a person put out their arms like straight in front of them like that, and have them repeat, I'm weak and powerless, I'm weak and powerless 10 times, and you got to push down on their arms will be weak and powerless. And if you then have them repeat, I'm strong and powerful, I'm strong and powerful, 10 times, pushed on their arms, literally, physically, they will be stronger, and you will feel it, and they will feel it, and you'll both kind of go, whoa, right? So I don't understand everything about how the universe works, but I do know that the belief that we have and the environment that we therefore create for others in their learning process, the vulnerability that people experience in that learning process will directly affect how their brain works, how their body works, how they process and synthesize information, how they actualize that information. So if it's not enough to do it because you want to be a good person or a supportive person, do it because technically, scientifically, it does make a difference in terms of how people process and learn and integrate that information and then become more independent, which is our goal, right? So be careful of that environment, that learning environment you're creating for people, and see what a huge, huge difference it can make, especially if they respect your opinion.